Yo, yo, yo. What's up, fam? It's your boy GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm especially pumped up on this Friday, and I didn't start super pumped up. Well, that's probably not true. Guys, I spent all my time this morning limit orders. Okay. I did research on limit orders. I didn't just do them. I did research on it. Why? Because everyone says go to match at XYZ, do blah, 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 blah. It doesn't always work like that. Why doesn't it fill sometimes? Why does it fill sometimes when the candle does blah, blah, blah? Okay, guys. Okay, Pulse Pot. He is astoundingly insightful. We just talked in the back room for 5 minutes. This guy is a developer. He's been in the game since I think he said 2000 and early. He said he was mining Bitcoin on his computer. And I immediately was like, tell me everything you know. And he explained to me in private that he is doing this to support the community. And he said it in a way that was, and I believed him. And a lot of the stuff that he told me in the background, he seemed very genuine. He seemed very knowledgeable. And I'm excited to learn more now than I was after talking to him. And I played the game. Sam looked into the tokenomics. He did a deep dive on that. We'll post that once we get started here. Harmony 1 got a $100 million bridge attack. Hex users unaffected. Solana, always down, unaffected. Okay, Hex.com, guys. I'm more confident than ever in Hex.com and the Pulse Chain ecosystem moving forward. And that's why I'm really doubling down on covering this stuff, because it's not the sexiest thing to cover ISCO or I can't even remember what it was called, the Hedron front end. But this is the community that I actually think will succeed. And that's why I'm doing this. I could just talk about Cell and fucking bullshit all day. But nope, we're going to talk about Pulse Pot, because this could be potentially huge when we're talking about adoption. Sam, what do we know more about people than anything? They love to gamble. There's just everyone in here was like, yep, I bet. Everyone in the chat nodding their head. Yep, go to the local gas station. What are they doing? I don't necessarily gamble, but I understand the volume because I did gamble very heavily at one point in my life. It's just like NFTs. I don't understand the pictures, but I understand the volume, right? Guys, Pulse Pot at the end, if this isn't just the most insightful conversation, which I have a feeling it might be, so we're covering the Pulse Hot list. These are 2 sacrifice phases that are going on right now. Why am I covering them? Because they're going on right now. Wouldn't that make sense? Yes. Do sacrifices make sense? Yes. Whoops. Do people that complain about sacrifices have mushy brains? Yes. Because why? You don't have to put your money in it. You stupid pieces of shit. Like, don't you? They want everyone to sell the bottoms anyway, but then they tell you not to sacrifice for other stuff because it doesn't pump their bags. It's just like, come on, can we break through it a little bit? We're going to a layer 1 pulse chain, guys. I'll be right back. Crazy stuff. Pulse Pot. I can't wait to talk to this guy more. Don't fall for the fake pump, guys. Seriously, don't fall for it. Everyone's going to go long. I'm not talking about Hex. I'm talking about Bitcoin, but we know at this point they're basically moving together. Let's not beat around the bush. So I'm not beating around the bush with that one. If we go to 11K, there will be a little bit more doom and gloom. I'm not saying we'll ever see a penny, but
you already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on pulse.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on pulse.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some Hex and I'm making a state. Got me some Hedron, I'm making it rain. Pay me some Maxi and that just in case. Jim ready sent me to show you the way.
D5 Pro.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on pulse.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on pulse.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
What is good, bro? How you doing this morning? It is a beautiful, beautiful morning. Sounds like you're choking on something.
Choked on my water.
I'm looking forward to this show. I did a deep dive on the Pulse Pot, the game, right? That could increase adoption on Pulse Chain, right? Because we know, not my thing, but a lot of people like playing games. A lot of people like gambling and that kind of thing. And we could have this cool, interesting project that launches on Pulse Chain that can help draw in more users. Adoption is the name of the game here. And I'm excited to talk to Jacob because he's actually the founder of this project. And the background that he was sharing earlier, super interesting. I want to learn more. I want to see how this is going to play out and all of this kind of stuff. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit better now. There we go. You are still muted though. How you doing this morning, brother? I saw a turtle, by the way. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, I went out and did my cardio this morning.
Bro, I'm in turtle country. That ain't nothing around here.
So I saw a big
You ever
turtle.
seen a big? You ever grab a hold of a big snapper?
When I was younger, I haven't done that or seen one in a long time. Pick it up by its tail.
You caught me, COTG. You caught me. It's all speculation, by the way. But yeah, I love grabbing turtles, grabbing snakes, grabbing any living animal that people are afraid of. I love grabbing them.
But yeah, I like grabbing them too.
Oops.
So. Boobies. So let's bring in Jacob. Let's get this going. Let's start this conversation because this is going to be an awesome conversation. I love talking.
Yeah, for everyone in here, we're talking about Pulse Pot. So get ready right now. You're learning about something new. Focus. Don't be biased. Don't be stupid.
Take a second and share this out right before
I'm going to post something. Share this out big time, guys. We're going to be on here for a while, Sam. Maybe double trouble this weekend sometime because there's a lot of weird news out, like some nuanced news. You never know.
A lot of projects to cover too. A lot more in this ecosystem. Jacob, what's good? I don't know why I'm saying hi yet. You probably can't even see me. But what's good, bro? How you doing? Yes.
Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you for the invite on the show, guys.
Thank you for being so willing to be timely and to be interactive and let us know that you wanted to be on the show right away. That helps us help you, and it makes it a lot cleaner. And first, I want to talk about, just while we get into this so we can get it started, who are you?
Okay.
Sorry about how you got into crypto and how.
GRC, you cut out for a second. You said, who are you? And then you cut out for at least
and your interaction with crypto, basically.
Okay. Well, my name is Jacob. As you can see from my name, I am a software developer. Been professionally for 15 years. I live in Denmark with my 3 kids and my wife, and I've been basically interested in crypto since early 2012. I was mining BTC on my own PC back in the days. Unfortunately for me, I was looking more at my electricity cost while doing that, so I made a bad judgment call that the expenses I was paying to my electricity company outweighed the current value of the BTC I was mining. So I made a decision just to send away a couple of hundred BTC just to test if the transaction actually worked on the network. And some lucky guy, he got a couple of hundred BTCs. I was happy that it actually worked. They were worth cents, probably 5 cents each. So
wow.
So that's my introduction to BTC. Not super proud of it, but in the long run, it probably all will work out fine. So fast forward 5-6 years, I get exposed to Ethereum ICO. And I start to look into crypto again, and this time it really stuck with me. I wasn't so focused on the price of it, but more focused on the revolution behind it. And as an IT developer, I really started to understand it in a much deeper way. So I got in again, started mostly investing and holding, and then late 17, I started building and developing on it. So that was my introduction to crypto. I think 1 year before Hex, I was exposed to Richard.com via a conference where
What
he
was your
did a
age
very
roughly when you started hearing about Bitcoin?
My age? Oh,
Just roughly. Like, were you early 20s?
yeah, most likely. Yeah, I was mid-20s.
Just trying to get a beat on like the time in your life, so I could.
Yeah, mid-20s. But I saw a video of Richard Hart actually being very critical towards fake Satoshi. I think
Ooh.
it's become a very popular clip where he calls out Craig White for being fake. And I started following
For
Richard.
reference, guys, Craig White was telling everyone at a conference that he was Satoshi.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
Richard was in the stands, literally like what? Give me a mic, and then he just
Yeah.
like called him out in front of everyone until he left.
He was cut off actually. Yeah, but that was for me. I just Richard seemed interesting. He seemed controversial, but interesting. He was knowledgeable, so I started following him like a year before he even mentioned Hex for the first time. And obviously, when he then came out with Hex, I bought into it like the first week of the adoption amplifier, and I just staked everything out for a long staking ladder. I still have stakes to this day. I went with the 50-50 liquid, 50 staked, hold everything. I don't think I've ever sold a single Hex actually, but I just held through it all. And then when it went live, like after the adoption amplifier, like really, well, actually, it was the first week of Adoption Amplifier. I started building a tool together with Crypto Coffee. Most of you might know Crypto Coffee. Matt, great guy. Me and him were building a onboarding tool to Hex. Basically, the idea of it was that we prepared wallets. I know this is probably going to sound a little bit crazy, but we were preparing pre-filled wallets with Hex, and we were selling them as a complete e-commerce system. Just as you buy a pair of boots with your Visa credit card, we were selling pre-filled wallet accounts with pre-filled hex and very small amount of Ethereum, together with a PDF very detailed explaining how you create a new account and move that hex to your new account. So basically what that meant was you could ask your mom or your brother just to buy this with a Visa card, and they would get sent a PDF and whatever amount of hex they actually bought, and now they would be an owner. So I
Sam's
was
brain is kicking into overdrive.
and yeah, I was in talks with Richard for a long time over this, and he, as you know, he does not support things where others know your seeds, and I fully agree on that.
Yep.
But here, it was an attempt to educate them to create a new account and then move what you just bought. But there obviously was like a period of time where I would actually have their seeds because I sold it to them.
Yes, and then you would have the access to everyone's address.
Well, if they didn't follow the PDF, in theory, yes, I could just remove the funds down the road at any time, if I really
Hey,
wanted
guys,
to.
so it's fair to say that Crypto Coffee and everyone knows you to an extent.
Yes, I would say
So
so. I
everyone
think
that's talking about him not showing his face, I mean, he's friends with all your friends. So why don't you just fucking ask someone? Briz, I love Briz. He's about as critical as he gets, but he's just trying to always be a warrior for the community, which we respect. But again, guys, you have to realize we're going into layer one world. Layer one world is not Hex. It's not.
So this is super interesting, and this is awesome story, Jacob. Like a lot of context for who you are and what you've been
Thank you.
what you've been going through. So respect.
But actually, I think it also is a testament to my focus on adoption, because the next project, which we're going to speak about in detail later, which is Postbot, is also only about adoption. I only build project with the focus of adopting people to the products I care about.
Say that
And I
one
did the
more
exact
time.
same
Say
with
that one
Hex.
more time. Say that one more time, real quick.
Well,
for the
I
people.
spend my developing power and my experience building products that adopts people onto the products that I care about, because that will help me and all like-minded people's bags in the long run, and that is my only focus.
Believe
Building
it or
adoption
not,
products.
people in the audience, there are some people that actually have money. I repeat.
True.
Some
Sorry.
people actually have money, and they don't need money in the moment for a while because they have investment portfolios that are absolutely dense and all over the place because they're older now. So therefore, if you do things right in your life, which nobody does, 99% of people fail to leverage their money properly. And you can be more creative on the other side of that. And Hex has unlocked that for me mentally, because now I have all this yield that I'm producing in real time
Yeah.
over, and I know what my future is in a way. In a way, obviously, it's a speculative ask.
So after that, I collaborated with Victor from Freepools. Many of you might know him. We were working on the Hex.com website together. He is by far the main developer of it, and I'm not in any way in comparison has done as much as he did. But I was assigned to some performance optimization and some general development things on the Hex.com website, the V2 of it. So I've been involved in that. I was pushing upgrades to the GitHub together with Victor, and he merged many of them on the main Hex side. So I've been very active on Reddit, very active on the Telegrams, and I've basically just having a focus on building. What I would say is has been my main focus for ever since Hex started. So obviously Richard he comes along and he decides to build this layer one, and I immediately knew this is the land of opportunity because there's so many successful products on Ethereum, and if Postchain ever will amount to anything, we would have equal opportunity on Postchain. So basically, I knew that there for developers it would be a fantasy land of this. You could just pick a successful project, fork it, and slap on a new logo, and you'll probably become rich if that is your incentive. Or you could build something that adopts people. So what I did was
And
that
it makes you feel good in your heart when you do things properly. And
absolutely, and but honestly, I knew my development developer capabilities. So the forking part, I just let up to someone else. I actually forced myself to want to create something 100% unique. I do not want to build something that someone else did and just slap a new logo on it and just benefit from that.
Talk about that a little bit, Jacob.
Sam agrees with that, by the way.
Because I like pulling little pieces that are golden nuggets. Like they did a cool thing here, they did a cool thing there, they did a cool thing there. But and then maybe synthesizing it away. What was it about creating something new where you just were drawn to that? Because I like that.
Yeah,
awesome.
I honestly I think that when you have been a developer for many years, you have some sort of certain expectations from yourself. I'm a very creative person as well. I've been designing a lot in my earlier days, and I'm just like every day I'm creative. I come up with problem solving things. It's like I live and breathe problem solving basically. So for me, if I just fork the meme coin, call it something else, and then sit there, lean back, and I'm done, it would not be sufficient. It wouldn't, satisfy my brain and my heart. So I really set out to do something that was 100% unique. It didn't exist anywhere else, and it was something that at the same time um, at the same time adopt users into Postchain because that is my main focus, as my history has shown: adoption and building something unique that is dedicated to Postchain. And obviously, there's 18,000 coins in crypto, so building something unique, guys, it's not easy finding an opportunity that is unique. But I went into research mode. I took my time. I started last November, and I really think that I was able to find something here that might be interesting. So basically, what I did was I realized that just in the United States alone, there's like $300 billion of gambling volume, and I think everyone has at some point in their life been exposed to the entertainment of gambling. Some might hate it, some might love it, and everything in between, right? But the fact of the matter is that if we have 70 million Ethereum wallets that are going to get airdropped tokens, some will consider them fake value, fake tokens, play money, whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is that if you can build something where they can just change the network in the MetaMask and they can actually come here and win real value 100% safely without ever connecting their wallet, without ever taking any chance in any way, but they have an opportunity to gamble and win real value. Like, how can I build anything that is better for adoption than that? Anyone would tell their friend that, hey, did you know you could just change that MetaMask and you have an entire set of tokens you can win and bridge back whatever value you want, if that's the case. And that is just step one, because my real goal was when you convince someone to try that, what happens? They experience 3-second block times. They experience non-existing gas fees, and that's where the goal is. So just getting to try them under the gambling umbrella is now step number one. But the real goal is that when they play, they realize the true benefits of Pulse Chain. They realize what can you actually do on this chain when you have almost instantaneous transactions, instantaneous DApp events, and also non-existing gas fees. That's where the true adoption will happen. So,
Can
so
you
and,
can
and
you
that was my goal.
Can you talk about, so like there's going to be people who are going to hear about Pulse Chain after it launches, and I'll be like, hey, GRC bro, you're on Ethereum, right? And he's going to be like, yeah. And he's like, I got this coin and this coin and this coin. And I'm like, awesome, dude. Did you know that if you go into your MetaMask and you just change your network from Ethereum to Pulse Chain, that you actually have free tokens over there based upon those ERC20s you already have? And they could take those ERC20s and potentially use those in the game that you've created, or I call it a game, but gambling or whatever you want to call it.
It's a game.
It's a game, right? And they could use these free, because what is the psychology behind people who get something for free? It's free money. I think you mentioned it, Jacob, or that's the perception for them. That's not a super valuable thing. But if they can take that free money and go into this and start experiencing Pulse is very quick, right? The very cheap, right? Something I think of like Pulse Chain is, in my mind, it's Ethereum plus a Binance, like combined together with both the best parts of both of those together. Pulse X is, Uniswap and PancakeSwap are the best of those pulled over here together. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's
real quick while we're for everyone that's in here that's listening, guys, in the comments, all the back and forth, it's all good. I don't get it. It's all for the good of the game. People have really strong stances on sacrifices. I'll never understand it. Like, sacrifice is just a funny word for every fucking financial instrument that's ever existed having pre-funding.
Yeah, and what's going on in the chat, it's very constructive. It's nothing negative. It's, it's people's preferences, and we're just having a conversation about it.
If I had children, guys, you could bet your ass my face would not be on here. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids until I can have a gated ass house. You know what I'm saying?
Security guard.
I'll live wherever once I got $150 million. But right now, if I had kids, and I'm not saying this is why he doesn't show his face. I don't know about where he lives.
No, I can explain that if you want to. That in Denmark we have a lot of scrutiny against gambling and a lot of scrutiny against crypto itself. And as you know, I'm a family
legislation-wise.
Yes, everything. It's just, banks and government is collaborating against it on a high level. And to me, I built this product finished. I can deploy it in 10 minutes on Pulse Chain or BSC or wherever I want. My identity is a weakness in all of that. If any government were to target me and force me to shut down the domain, let's say, or the hosting, then that's a weakness. So revealing my identity is an absolute weakness to the long term part of this project, and that's also why I knew that I had to build everything finished before I came out and showed it, because this is not an idea, this is not a promise, this is not a white paper, this is a working product today that will help adopt people into Pulse Chain. Absolutely.
So guys, real quick, in the comments, I'm posting down below a Twitter thread by Bullish. You need to share that right now. And we're going to do a little campaign to get Bullish another 1,000 followers. We're going to get him to 2,000 followers because he's one of the most helpful dudes in the Hex community. And I think I am going to do a little campaign where we get him to that. But I haven't put that tweet out yet. So be ready for that tweet. That tweet's coming. And but guys, share this out right now. Get everyone in here that you can. Share this to your buddies. Blah, 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 blah.
I want to ask Jacob a question here before we get into the details of the game. Casually, you just mentioned that you could deploy this on BSC. I'm sure if the essence of what you're saying is the increasing adoption of Pulse, right? Like, there's probably a creative way to launch on BSC that kind of like increases the adoption of Pulse Chain by garnering attention or something along those lines. And I would, you sound like a very smart, intelligent, thoughtful person who has a lot of experience in this arena, who also likes to talk to other smart, talented, intelligent people. I'm sure that you've thought about this. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So,
Thank you.
no expectations of profit from the work of others, right? But we will only have one sacrifice phase, and that's for Pulse Hexagon community and the Pulse community. That means that whenever we deploy on any other chain, EVM compatible, you will have a copy of all of the tokens you sacrifice for. So that's an 5x in the long term of your sacrifice copy. That also means that when, let's say, when we deploy on BSC, you will get equal amount of BNBP, if that's the symbol we're going to call it. Let's see. And it will have the same exact tokenomics, so it will be worth a floor value of $30. So imagine everyone on BSC in that community, they didn't sacrifice. They do not have a value, a token value of $30. They have to put in their own hard-earned BNP or their whatever, sorry to say, shit token that is on BSC, which they have been investing in. So what will happen is that a lot of hexagons with this sacrificed inflated value token that I created, they will win over a lot of value on all the other chains, and they can bridge it all back to Pulsechain easily. So they increase the TVL on Pulsechain. And that's one thing. But the other thing is that I will make a UI where you can follow the activity of the pods basically across all chains we launch on. So for instance, if you are on Postpod, you can still see like this small count on the side where what's the state of the pod on BSC, Phantom, AVAX, or whatever. And I believe that Pulse chain will have high activity, and that way, if you are on BSC playing that version, you can see, hey, there's a big pod going on over the Pulse chain side. Well, I might should change my network and join that one as well.
Jacob, I have an idea, but you may have already thought of this. How could that be deployed at a higher level where I don't see the BSC, Ethereum, because this can theoretically probably just a little bit of a change, and you can deploy this on every fucking network, right? So why couldn't this just be on a one game that earns tokens in multiple different layer ones, or is played in one network, but then you earn tokens in Pulse? Or I don't know. Like,
yeah, I have thought about that. I would call that like a multi-pod. So it is possible. I have been investigating. It's very difficult to do. But basically what happens is that someone might send X amount of value on BSC. Someone might send X amount of value of Pulse. But you enter it into the same pod. The good thing is that everyone has the same wallet address on all chains. So that means that if you win X amount of tokens, you're getting paid out on each chain, and then you have to jump around the networks to claim your winnings. Basically, it is your idea is really good, and I thought about myself, but it is extremely hard to do because a lot of different contracts across different chains need to be kept in check to make that work. But it is something I'm exploring. But right now, I have faith.
I have faith in you, Jacob. I have faith in you. I know
appreciate Sam.
You can do, bro. Like, that's going to be a one of a kind that is not, in my understanding.
Explain it again for me.
So I'm going to try to paraphrase, and then Jacob's going to be like, "You're wrong here and here." But think of Pulse pot on a Pulse chain. Now think of BSC, right? Binance, and you have the same exact game. Same, it could be called, Binance pot or something, right? But what happens on the front end of BSC? I'm in there. I'm on BSC. Oh, this game looks kind of cool. I'm going to play this game, and I go into this game, and there's a bigger pot, right? This pot is the combination of Pulse and BSC and Ethereum and AVAX and Phantom all in one big pot here. And then they're able to go back and forth. Or like there's probably several different ways you could structure this, but do it in a way so that like there's almost an incentive to channel it back to Pulse.
It's absolutely correct how you put it there, Sam. And I think the interesting part of that is, imagine someone is playing on AVAX or Phantom, and then a guy comes in and he drops, let's say, 100 USDL value on the Pulse chain part. And if the guy over at BSC or Phantom wins, he's forced to go to Pulse chain to claim that value because he won it on Pulse chain. So I think your idea is absolutely, it is awesome in every way. But I'm telling you right now, if I can realize that, I would almost be proud as well, because that is
No, bro,
very
we
difficult
would
to
be proud of you. We had a conversation with some folks the other day, and they're saying how it's not. I'm not saying any names or anything, but like they're saying that's how it's not trustless what they're creating, and how it's an issue, right, kind of thing, and can't be done kind of thing was effectively what they were saying. But if you pay attention to the macro, what is happening, and you understand that people like yourself, that's smart, is talented, and you're not going to take the easy way out. Let's just fork something else that's good over on the other side. That's easy enough, and I can make plenty of money doing it that way. It's you're taking the time to actually create something new that forces you, Jacob, to become a stronger person, a better leader in the community. Like, we have faith in you that you can definitely create this. And this would be one of a kind thing. Once you created that structure, you could do an iterative thing for, you know how valuable that would be to take that as a framework. If you can build this for Pulse Pot, even if it takes you the next year and a half to build, you could take that framework of multi-chain gameplay into one area, and you could deploy this in other pieces. Like, that would be a tremendously. That's why it's so challenging.
I agree, and I really want to end there one day, hopefully within a realistic time frame, because it is an absolute amazing idea. It would be incredible to do that, honestly. And we have dipped our feet slowly into the development aspects of it, and also the security aspects. It's a massive undertaking, and I would like to deploy all of the dedicated chain pods first, and then I'm instantly starting to realize the multi-chain part. And I think you're right, it could be the best adoption tool possibly you could make for Pulse Chain without any single competition.
As you get more creative and more people come to you and mention things, and you learn more as you go, like, you can make the game stickier and stickier and stickier as you go. Like, you know, you have lots of here. Let's look at this real quick, and I'd love if you could just explain this a little bit to the people, just in a broad way. And if you want to pull it up yourself, you can too. But I can just keep it here, and you can just talk about it.
It's fine. So basically, this is the front end of the contract. You will send in your token that we support. We have to whitelist the tokens that enter the pod, because we don't want people to create their own token with inflated value and then basically winning real value from other players with your fake value. So we only whitelist. Yeah.
Can you explain what whitelist means for people who don't know what that means?
Whitelisting means that the token that you can send into this contract needs to be hard coded, or it needs to be inserted into the contract as a accepted token. And that is because we want to secure the liquidity. I do not want anyone to win anything in my game and not being able to offload it to any other crypto they want. It's a very high priority for me. So when you win something, I want you to be able to go to PulseX and change it without any liquidity issues to any other token you want, because otherwise it's not real value, and then everything dies. So liquidity for me in the whitelisted tokens is absolutely important in every aspect.
That's beautiful, because effectively, for if anybody's listening and they're not exactly sure, he doesn't want you to get scammed. Like, there's going to be scammers and be like, oh, wow, this Pulse Pot thing is cool. And if there wasn't a whitelist of like, or basically it's just a list, or you can't just play with like fucking made up money that you just created and play with the game to win other stuff. So that's what he's effectively trying to accomplish here. They're only allowed PulseX, Pulse, Hex, Maxi, etc. You're allowed to use those to play the game, not some BS.
I will say that we want to list as many PRC20s as possible. So I'm targeting at least 100 different tokens you can participate with, because that's exactly what people are going to get airdropped into all of the wallets we want to adopt. All of these people that didn't sacrifice for Pulse Chain, they don't have Maxi, most likely. They don't have liquid loans. They don't have Hex, all of that, because it's people outside of our community we want to bring in. So it's actually incredibly important that we do support Link, that we do support Shiba Inu, and all of this entire set of tokens that is outside of our known community. So I expect roughly 100 tokens in total to be supported.
Wow, this is awesome. This is cool watching this play out. So what do we got going on here? We have these whitelisted tokens, Maxi, PulseX, and Hex, that are going into this pot here. and then there's a timer and a countdown.
Yeah, so basically, in theory, when two different wallets enter the pot, the timer will start from 5 down to 0. It needs 2 to start because otherwise you cannot just play against yourself. When that countdown starts, an infinite amount of wallets can participate with an infinite amount of value and also amount of tokens. So you could see a pot with $1 million in it with hundreds of different of tokens. And whoever wins that, large chance or small chance, will be sent instantaneously to your account and wallet on chain, verifiable, and you would have all of those tokens in your wallet. It would be like you winning a big bag of candy that you never have had before. Maybe tokens you never knew existed, and you might keep some of them, you might sell some of them, you might replay with some others. It's entirely up to you. But the strength of this is the fact that even I cannot stop you from getting your money that you just won. Nobody in the world can censor you. This is wallet to wallet gambling, and nobody will be able to take that value away from you. It is a guaranteed, trustless, and 100% decentralized way for anyone in the world to gamble. Nobody can censor this.
Wow, this is awesome. This is the lot because this is like the lottery, but instead of here in the US, right? There's like mega they call it like a mega millions thing, and it's like 7 or 12 states that all combine together to doing this. But and then the government just takes a boatload of it and says they're going to do something with it, and then nobody ever sees any value from it.
As a comment on lottery generally have around 60% RTP. That means 60% of the value is returned to the player. In this game, the worst you're ever gonna get is 97. And if you hold 100 PLSP, you have 0. So you actually have a negative RTP if you're a holder because you also get the yield. I don't know any gambling game in the world where you have 100% return to player. And the reason why that is because we're not a house. We provide a trustless service to match players against each other. So I'm not dependent on covering my expenses, being a house, earning a fixed 10% over all of your games. No, you can play at 100% RTP in a decentralized, trustless manner. This is a unique project from A to Z.
I love this, Jacob. Like I read through your site and your white paper, and gaming has never been like something that's I've been super interested in, and we're been talking for 30 minutes or so, and I am very excited about this project. Not necessarily from the standpoint that I would play it necessarily, but the way you've structured this is thoughtful. The way you've structured this and put this together in a trustless way is awesome. Like, I love this.
Thank you, Sam. And also, I understand that not all would want to gamble, and I think that is great. But I will give anyone an opportunity to own a part of the casino. You know, who owns the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas? Do you think he's sitting at the blackjack table
This
himself?
is where Sam.
This is where I got. This is where I was like.
To be honest, this is where me and Sam would never. I would never play a game over and over again because I gambled for 365 days straight, almost ruined my life. But it was sports gambling, and it was all by my ignorance. And but so I quit gambling, but I understand gambling very, 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 very intimately because I studied it just as hard as I'm studying crypto now for a year straight. And the volume, what people are willing to do, they'll beat your neighbor, steal his wallet, and bet it all on a freaking football game.
True story.
It's crazy. And they'll drink beer while they're doing it, and so they don't remember.
And you know what? Why wouldn't you own a protocol on 5 chains that offers this to gamblers?
Okay, yes, this is awesome.
All right, let's switch the conversation.
Let's go into the token.
Why should someone sacrifice? Why should someone own this token? Let's talk about tokenomics. Let's get down to business.
Okay, well, I designed the entire tokenomics of this token from the bottom up, and the only thing that I care about is pumping the price of the token. That is everything. All of the tokenomics are based on pumping the price. So, we only have 1 million low supply, and I know you said you had some unit BS there, Jimrad, but we have a low supply of 1 million tokens. So you could see that as 1 million shares of the casino. And those shares pay out dividends or yield every 60 days rolling. Means that if you own 10% of the casino, you get 10% of the profits.
I'll pull
And,
that up.
and all of those profits are from the 3% fee of each pot. So let's say there goes a $1,000 pot happens. Well, we take $30 out of that and save on a separate account. When those 90 days arrive, we take those accumulated fees and we distribute it proportionally to all of the holders. So the guy who holds 10% of the supply, he gets 10% of all of the profits this contract will ever generate. So we have three different ways of using the fees that the contract accumulates. We use a third of all of the profits to buy back and burn the token from the market, from PulseX. So we take X amount based on volume, like this is all speculative. How much volume is in the pots? We run around 220 pots a day when they are like going 5 minutes over and over with no stops. Around 220 pots is possible every 24 hours. And based on the average value of those pods, you are going to accumulate some certain amount of value. We use 100% of all value accumulated to do one thing, and that is pump the price of PLSP. We post everything back into the community in 3 different ways. We buy back and burn straight from the sellers at PulseX. We distribute the yield, airdrop it straight to the holders, and we do a monthly lottery where one guy can hold 1 PLSP and he can get dropped $1 million straight into his wallet, and he basically probably even forgot why he got it. So
Jacob, this is awesome. So for anybody who is listening and is not aware of this, so in the video I did the other day, I had a couple questions, and I was like, "Hey, it says this over here, and it says this over here," and Jacob was like, "Oh, he's right." So he's really trying to grow and learn. He was like, Sam actually did say something intelligently, right, at one point, and
that was an oversight from our end, and I'm happy you pointed out, because that was an unfortunate oversight that we'll see. Basically, what you pointed out was that there was 10% missing, and that's that. And Jim, right, you said that, well, they have to earn somewhere, right? So probably those 10% is going down my back. Well, luckily for me, I could understand why you would think like that, because that is the logical way of thinking. Right. But luckily for me, we actually post 100% back into the holders.
Which is
so we corrected it.
Thank you for correcting it, and thank you for the authenticity and just open honestness of what you're doing right here. I read to give context on the casino thing here, right? I've read twice the Art of the Deal, which is a Donald Trump book, and he owns casinos, but he also owns a bunch of other shit. And one of the reasons that he got into the casinos is because of the stupid amounts of cash flow. If you heard what GRC said, how he used to gamble for a year straight, right? You understand certain people like that kind of shit. And it's not just here in the United States. Like, yes, it's probably an abundant here because people have access. But it happens all over the world. And
gambling happens more in low income.
And you see potentially, I don't know, but it sounds like this could be the first decentralized type of lottery where you can actually own a portion of that. That's why Trump was buying these casinos, because of the cash flow from them. You could go own a portion of this where you get it's not like, 50% of the profit goes here, the 50% of the profit you get to keep. It's 100% gets going back out to the holders. Jacob, can you go over those 3 parts of how the profit is split back up, please?
Yes, of course. So basically, we keep a separate record of who is holding the token, because at the second that the 90 days roll over, we have to distribute the funds. And based on how many PLSP you hold in your wallet, you get a different amount airdrop to your account. And also with the lottery, it's the same. We keep a record of who has all of the PLSP. Just like Etherscan, you can go and click the holders tab, and you will see all wallets that hold some certain amount of tokens. So we use the same function just to identify what wallet holds what certain amount. And if you hold 10% of the total supply, then you have 10% chance of winning the lottery. You have 10% of getting all of the yield. And the buyback and burn is just straight to the PulseX. So that's basically how it works. But something I really want to address, because I see there's been a lot of confusion about it, is how do we guarantee a $30 minimum value?
Reading my mind, this was my next question.
And it's fairly simple, but I can still understand that why someone would
Phrase
have
within
some
the white
questions.
paper too. It's like it kind of
Yeah.
makes you look at it and you're like,
Yeah. Well, basically the way it works is that when I code this contract, I put in a function that says no matter what market value on PulseX the token has, the value, the betting power of PLSP cannot go under $30 in the pot. This means that imagine the price of PLSP is $15 on PulseX, but you have high volume in the pots. Let's say you could go to PulseX, buy one PLSP for $15, immediately send it to the pot, and it would be valued at $30. So you just doubled your betting power towards winning. Somebody maybe submitted Hex, someone submitted PLSX, someone submitted Loan, whatever other token. So as long as the token on PulseX is lower than 30, there's like this instantaneous arbitrage opportunity for active gamblers and players to increase their betting power. Imagine you're in Las Vegas and you go into the cashier and you pay them $100, but they give you $200 worth of chips. That is the scenario that will happen. And in my mind, from how I know crypto, my experience, if we have volumes in the pot, there is simply no chance that the PLSP token would have a long-term price under $30 on the market. With this low supply and how everything works, I just simply cannot see that happening. Not financial advice, but I have no way of seeing how that would be possible. So that is one thing, is the under the 30. What happens when the price, which hopefully it's designed to go way, way above 30, not a financial advice, but so when it goes to 50, the contract only follows upwards. So if it's 200, well, it's still 200 in the contract. So only above 30, we follow the value. Does it go sub 30? We stay at 30 no matter what. So that's a metric in the tokenomics that's designed. Yeah,
Jacob. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly on the second half thing. I think that's super cool. That they're always going to be like, they could buy it. Say if it was $5, right? You get $5, but you get 6x that in the game worth of like betting power in the game. So super question on that piece of it. So say if somebody doesn't want to bet their whole coin, right? They're like, I can buy this for $5 or $10, and I get a 3x or a 6x in the game. And if I wanted to use 1/6 of the token to bet, that is you're just changing the decimal places basically.
Yeah. Well, we have fractional token support. So you, just like Hex has X amount of fractional, BTC has like 18 zeros in front of the last character. You will have the same with PLSP. You don't need to bet one PLSP.
Okay, awesome. And then I thought that was pretty simple. Thank you. So say it goes to $35. And I also had one, remind me if I don't remember, you had mentioned 60 days and 90 days, and I think in the paper it says 6 months. So I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, that is true. And it's because right now we are running a community poll where I really want to listen to the community and kind of involve them in this decision making. Because as you know me, I have a long-term holding way of doing crypto, but maybe that's just me. Like my community, it seems like they want the yield paid out more regularly. So now I'm reducing that to fit the needs of my investors or my players, and they would much rather like a 30, 60, 90-day kind of horizon rather than the 6-month payout.
Where does that come up within the securities liability when you start talking about the shares and the payout?
What do you mean?
Like, because aren't we all worried about that everything's going to get taxed real heavy because it's not going to be considered a
security?
You think it might be considered a security, or are you concerned about like the tax implications about earning yield?
More so the tax implications of earning yield, and we can get to that after.
If you're earning money, at least here in the United States, I don't know what it is over there.
But sorry if I'm not I'm not the smartest with the taxes.
No, there's plenty of people who don't know about this stuff. Yeah. It's don't even be worried slightly about that. But if you're earning yield here in the United States, that's technically taxable. So if you have this and you have it for a year and it's paid out quarterly, and you earned $100 on your shit, then you would basically add that as taxable income of $100. Now, there might be some nuances around that, and like you got to talk to your accountant and stuff. But maybe if you're not selling it, then potentially you could say maybe it would roll into like a long-term capital gains versus like ordinary income and tax rates and all that kind of stuff. But you got to talk to your actual accountant on that. Jacob, you had mentioned that maybe a 30, 60, 90 thing. Where are you at right now? Obviously, we're still in development. We're still early on in this, but where are you at right now for that?
Well, my priority is that we are sending real like some certain size. So if I did it every 5 days, you would probably split who knows how much volume into 1 million PLSP holders. So we would be sending low value and paying gas fees for that. So the perfect balance for me is we send a significant value where gas fees is non-existent in comparison to that value, but also that you can, like, you get a wage here in Denmark. At least we get paid normally every 30 days. So if you can construct it in a way where it's not too long term, but also it comes in regularly, so you can use it as some sort of income you can spend further on in the system, reinvest, or just hold, or whatever you want to do. But 6 months, I thought it would be fine, and that was because I want to send a big bunch of yield. But I think the community has spoken, and they would really like to reduce that, and I'm all ears to that, because it's in the end, it's their money, So
Is something also on the side of security related to 6 months versus say 30 days. If I'm a nefarious actor and I see that there's a accumulation of funds that just goes up and up and up, it becomes bigger target. Like, yes, you could be audited. Yes, try to reduce the tax surface and stuff, but just inevitably when there's, larger and larger quantities of money available, more and more eyeballs try to pay attention to try to see how they can fucking get their fingers in there, versus a 30-day distribution, or 60 days or whatever it comes out to be, that doesn't build up as high, right? And maybe that's not really a factor, but that's what came to my mind.
I think it's that this is something that it depends on the individual holding part of the project. Some would like it to be 1 year, 2 years. Others want it to be 15 days, and everything in between. So we are trying to figure out a way that can satisfy as many people as possible, because there will only be one setting. When I deploy the contract, it pretty much needs to be set in stone. Otherwise, I would have to introduce too many admin functions to change that based on a DAO or whatever, how it will change it. So I really want to hit it correctly when we do it, and that's why we are just trying to communicate with the community about how do you feel about it, and also try to foresee what the smartest would be based on the volume in the pots, because that is really important to everything we do. Is what will the average value in the pot actually end up being? It might be $10, it might be $2,000. Like, who actually knows, right? And yeah.
No, it's super interesting, because the adoption, or the people's awareness of the game, and that it's not something like Celsius where they're going to steal your money or take control of your shit. And you haven't explicitly said this, but I would bet that there's no admin keys. It's going to be audited. It's going to be good shit to come off the bat. And it's just
the admin key part's going to come up. So some people did ask about that as well.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, for instance, admin keys is necessary because one single thing: we need to track the prices of the tokens. If we cannot attribute USD value to whatever transactions comes in, everything will fall apart, because that is your exact value in the game up against the player you are playing against. So I need to know the value of the token. So the contract needs to have market data fed into it. Otherwise, the entire contract falls apart.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and the same you can say for whitelisting tokens. So I have an admin key to whitelist, remove, or add tokens, and I have an admin key to inject market prices, because this cannot function without that. But what I do not have an admin key for is to steal your funds. If you send in funds to this contract, you will get them back if you win, no matter what. I have no way of taking your sent in transaction, and if you create a separate wallet and send in a transaction again, so that we have two unique wallets that will start the wheel, I cannot stop that in any way. I cannot take your funds in any way. That is 100% decentralized, secured, and whoever wins will get their funds no matter what. I cannot stop it.
Is a question on this. So basically, it's modular to the extent where opening the door behind me, it doesn't just give you access to the whole room like it would in my office. It is modular code in the sense that you can open this one door, which allows you to access market prices for coins, and you have this other door which allows you to input different whitelisted tokens, as you said you'd like to get to as
Yes.
many ERC20s. Okay.
Absolutely. And the way that we are kept in check as a team is because we hold 10% of the supply. So obviously, it would be strange for me to act in a nefarious way when I hold 10% of the entire supply. Like, naturally, it would be in my best interest to work hard and make PLSP rise in price because that increases the value of the 10% of the tokens I own. I do not get a single dollar out of the operational part of PulsePod. I only get I only get value because I own 10% of the supply. So there's no daily fees that get sent to a separate contract or anything at all. That it all is going back to the holders. And because I hold 10% of the supply, I indirectly have an incentive to expand and maintain and run this product for like literally forever.
So, question on this. Okay, so market prices. What are your thoughts on oracles and like Chainlink? So, say Chainlink's like, hey guys, we're going to come over to Pulse Chain, and they're going to provide prices. Can that admin key be let go, or how?
I don't like Chainlink because to me that's the weak link in any contract. Like if you depend on a third party contract, even if they inject random numbers or if they inject market prices, um, first of all, if they're coming, it's a variable in itself. And if I build my product dependent on that, what am I waiting 1 year? Am I waiting 3 years? I don't like being dependent on other people because I know what I'm doing and I like being dependent on myself. So I built this in a way where I don't really be dependent on any others, and I would prefer at least initially to just get the price straight from the forked API Uniswap info part. PulseX, the devs on, I've spoken with the devs on PulseX, they are currently forking the info part of Uniswap, which provides an API for all market data on all pairs, and we will use the PLS pair mainly or the USDC pair or whatever stablecoin, probably USDL, to provide the market value back to us. So I do prefer PulseX directly over Chainlink, but let's see if they ever adopt, and let's see when that time comes. I have constructed the contract in a way where it works with a proxy, so I could potentially change those things if I want to adopt Chainlink. Some people think it's the best thing in the world for contracts. I'm not so convinced, but let's see.
I'm not convinced either. I just think, yeah, I just read an article about $100 million hack on Harmony. So every, bridge is just danger. There's a lot of danger. And well, that's just I guess that's the point of exploit, if there is one, right? Like it's going to be a bridge.
Yes, and that's why Hex is so strong, because it has no outside dependencies. And if you want to break Hex, you need to find a flaw in the math of the function, and it's audited. So the chance of breaking Hex is so small because you're not dependent on any data coming in from the outside. It's literally just like this closed off mathematic operation. And I don't personally believe anyone will ever break Hex simply because the way it's designed. But everyone else who have third party dependencies with a lot of TVL locked, that's where it always goes wrong.
Yes. Okay. So this is super cool, Jacob. I appreciate your time coming on here and sharing this information. Like you've been able to help open my mind up around this to a much greater extent, where I'm far more excited about this. What types of things would you like to share that we haven't talked about yet related to
go ahead and give your final pitch as far as what you want people to do. I don't care what you say. You can say whatever the hell you want. And no, but what do what's best for you? Where can they find you? Where can they learn more? Anything about the project that you want to emphasize?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity, and we are all here to benefit the ecosystem, right? And you do what you're best at. You're spreading the word. I do what I'm best at. I'm a builder, so we're all here for the same cause, basically. And if you wanna, we have a Telegram chat called PulsePod. We have a Twitter called PulsePod, and we have a running sacrifice right now where we are selling up to 1 million tokens in total, and I think
Can you
like
pull it up?
55% has been allocated or claimed at this current time. So we have a little bit
So
left to
right
go.
here we have 431. We got 431,000 PLSP.
So basically, we
3.1.
started like 5 weeks ago, and the price was $5 per PLSP. We are currently 4 weeks later, and the price is increasing. So now it's $9.8 per PLSP. That is still a significant gain to the $30 value you are guaranteed. But if you sacrifice $5,000 or more, you are automatically put back into the best value you can possibly get for the project, and that is a guaranteed 500% gain on day one per chain. So in effect, when we've deployed on all chains, that's 2,500% value gain on day one. And that's in mind that all of this is designed to pump in price. So from my perspective, like I know I'm super BS, but yeah, I think it's going to go up in price.
And I'm proud of you for chasing your dreams, bro. Like, I mean, everyone wants to be, well, at least the people that I know want to be I would love to have, well, now that's what I'm doing, but having a creative outlet where you can actually value people is extremely motivating as a man. And so I try to bring as many people on that are doing that and willing to talk about it as I can, because that's kind of that's the route that I want to go in, right? Like, I just want to be all crypto, it's the best thing ever.
I appreciate it, man, and you're doing a great job with the
Thanks.
tools you have available, And anyone who wants to join us or have any questions, anything at all, just let me know, because we are only here for one thing, and it is helping the community. We want to be as transparent as we can, minus the docs. But it's the doxing part is simply to secure the project, and it will be the best for the project long term. But anything we can be transparent about, or any question you might have, I would love to answer them all. And we are all here for the same reason, to make Pulsion a big success for us all. So
one more question for you, Jacob.
yeah.
To potentially increase the longevity or decrease the risk factor of Jacob portion of it, is there going to be a way for others to create front ends for this in some way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Anyone could build a front end to this. Anyone. And even if we start to reach a point where we're seeing regulatory pressure, I will just open source the front end, so anyone can literally just GitHub clone it, put it up on a domain, just like Pirate Bay in the old day, right? Anyone could spend 10 minutes and it's just up and running, because nobody can shut down the contract. So no matter what, when I deploy this contract, anyone will forever be able to interact with it with their funds, and it will always pay out to the winner, no matter what. Like, you have to stop Ethereum before this contract stops. But I know as well that the front end, the gamification part of it, is a big driver of the volume. So if that goes away, obviously they will see a massive reduction in the volume. But if I'm for some reason completely out of it, anyone would be able to build the front end just the same way as Hex,
Yeah. Okay. This is dope. I think this is awesome. That you answering this question led me to the last question. I swear.
We have to go into Pulse Hot. At least I do, Sam. If you have to leave, I got to go into Pulse Hot list.
No, you're good. You're good. I just didn't feel like I was like had a ton more questions on PulsePod, because Jacob's been so thorough and transparent in answering them. So I was like, this is fantastic. Are you going to launch this on Ethereum?
No.
Before PLS.
No, absolutely not. I don't even have Ethereum in my scope of view right now. We the only thing I might do is launch on BSC before Pulse, based on how the timeline looks like. I honestly thought that Pulsion was coming out this May, June, as probably everyone else. But I've told the community that August, if nothing has happened until August, I'm starting to look at BNB chain. The reason for this, I made a finished project. Anyone can go and copy my contract and start deploying it where they want. Like, I have some sort of maximum timeline. I'm willing to let that code exist, because at some point in time, some other interested developer will come and he will start basically deploying my project. So I have some sort of maximum timeline I'm willing to wait for Pulse.
Okay, so if that's the case, how would that work with PLSP?
Well, if they deploy my contract,
No, if you so say August, right? Because I think that there's a decent chance we see a lower price in BTC and we don't what's called doesn't launch. Pulse Chain doesn't launch until 12,000, 14,000.
We're going into one of the most detrimental recessions that we've seen in a very long time.
And I don't think Pulse is going to launch until we hit those it's still too high for that.
Speculative, but yes.
Yes, 100%.
What's going to happen is that I'll take a snapshot of the current sacrifices at that time, and then I will deploy it on BNB chain, and I will airdrop to all those who manage to sacrifice in time. The sacrifice will run until Pulse chain launches or the 1 million is sold out. But if I decide to move out BNB as the first chain, I will snapshot the current sacrifices and I will airdrop the tokens to them.
Oh, so they could still be getting, so this is cool. So they could still be earning BSC tokens before it actually launches on Pulse Chain.
Absolutely. The entire project will be 100% functional on BNB chain while we are still waiting for Pulse. And all who sacrifice will have the exact same token amounts on BNB chain.
This is awesome. This has been great, Jacob.
I appreciate your excitement about it, Sam. I really love it. And thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for being awesome and transparent and letting everyone know about your awesome project, dude. And we'll have you back on. Any updates you want to bring to the table, we're live every single day. So just hit us up.
Thank you, guys. It's all for adoption. That's what we're here for. And by the way, go use the faucet when we launch. Anyone can claim up to 5 PLS a day. Don't use it to build your portfolio. Use it to help your friend out transacting. Anyone, we are giving away 50 million PLS just so we are sure that anyone who got airdropped PRC20 tokens can actually also get PLS, so they can start using the dApps and everything. So we're trying our best, and if anyone has any idea how we can do even better, I'm all ears, guys.
Hey,
hit him up in his DMs, follow him. We'll drop all his links below. Jacob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and I'll talk to you later, guys. Thank you,
sir. Appreciate your time, bro, and the honesty and the transparency and the value that you're bringing to the community. So this has been awesome.
Thanks, guys. Work hard every day, right?
Yeah.
See you.
Wow. That was awesome.
That's how we do this show here.
We got to have more people on like Jacob.
Well, developers that have a lot of experience in crypto are they're just they just seen a lot, right?
Yes.
Just, and he had the vibe that he just wasn't necessarily super worried about his direct finances, and people could say whatever they want, but I catch vibes on people really good in the green room, and he just wasn't his primary concern at the time. He's more worried about doing something that's creative, in my opinion. But we're going to go into another subject that me and Sam have no idea about.
Perfect.
It's perfect for me because this one is an interesting one. Let me give you some context here, Sam. As much context as I know. I'll ask him if he'll let me see his face in the background, and I'll let y'all know what he looks like. Because some of the guys do show their faces in the background to other people. I'm sure he's shown his face to many people. Like Bullish has shown his face to me and Sam many times. It's not, but again, everyone has different pros and cons to showing their fucking face to everyone. There's pros and cons there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing it for a long time.
But this is what we do. It's like if we had to start over and someone gave you like 2 options, you would think about it.
Yeah, and especially if I lived in an environment where he lives in, where he's got 3 kids, a wife, and the government over there is like, we don't like crypto, and you should probably not be involved in crypto because there's a good chance, being that we are a government, we're gonna fuck shit up and we're gonna come after you, right? Like, makes sense to me.
What do you think about Briz?
Briz, he is asking for money. Cool, yeah. What's wrong with that, man?
You have to give him any?
You don't. Good point. You don't,
dude. The chances of me sacrificing for this are low.
Like
but I'm not your average cookie. I am a hex weirdo, T-share investor, long-term nomad. Like I don't think like most people. So my actions aren't really representative of many's. I go to the gym every day. I wake up at 4 a.m. I'm a freaking weirdo. and I freaking pound ass all day long, baby.
And you definitely don't need to give money. I have not sacrificed. GRC has not sacrificed. I don't believe Bullish can hop on if he wants to. I don't think Bullish is sacrificed.
I don't think so.
We're just
He
talking.
will, though. He fucking will.
I after this conversation with Jacob, like I was not going to sacrifice. After this conversation with Jacob, I would be open to sacrificing. If I do,
what do you think about this comment?
Parade of imaginary horribles talking about the government going after him. People said, don't invest in
dude, in Canada, they literally knock your fucking door down and take your shit.
Australia, you can't even go out of your house.
Brits, dude, where I live, if you wear a $4,000 watch outside of your house, you are in risk of getting shot in the head. Very, like, decent risk, like 2% risk. That's why no one around me wears anything. They all dress like they're in poverty land.
And you don't want to even have this out.
Fuck no. In your pocket. If they know you have the newest phone, that's a green maybe he's in a higher tax. Maybe at least he has a nice phone on him. He's wearing nice shoes.
Money. Maybe there's other shit.
He's wearing nice shoes. I dress like a bum. You know why? Because I don't like to draw attention to myself. And I'm not a huge guy, so like I just stay on the low. I wear the same thing every fucking day, sweatpants in a tank top. And I get likes on my shit because I'm ripped, but it's not about all of that shit. You just got to remember. I forgot what we were kind of talking about.
Well, think about this. Think about this in the sacrifice, right? Like, first of all, you don't need to sacrifice. Like, if you don't want to, don't sacrifice. Like, you should do what's best for you and your own financial situation. It's called personal finance because it's personal, right? Like, it's my shit is my shit, which you should not do what I do just because I'm doing it. That's a dumb move.
2 people DM'd me because I said I sold my liquid hex at 7 cents. And they were like, dude, you're playing with fire. And I was like, yeah, but I'm like talking about it all day long. It's like I've done like 4 transactions this year. You know what I mean? Like, and there were like 2 of them were in the last like 2 months. And I told everyone what I did because I was trying to be transparent and try to let everyone know the reality. Because what is it? When I told people I sold my shit for USDC, maybe they were like, that's weird. A fucking 11-year stake length average.
Well, then you're gonna have people, right? If GRC is like, hey, I sold my Maxi or I sold my X, there's gonna be people who reach out to you and be like, why are you funding my bag, bro? Like, who gives a shit, dude? Do your own thing.
I'm fudding the economy right now, but we are going. It is tricky though. You want to be careful because we are going through one of the largest transfers of wealth that the largest transfer of wealth that the world will ever see. And you can't necessarily pinpoint when that critical mass is going to kick because it's on them. It is, let's be honest, it's not on us. It's on them. They have the people. We don't have shit.
Here's a good analogy, I think. If you think Hex is good, right? There's a lot of people who think Hex is like the holy grail of holy grails for earning yield, right? And security and whatnot, right? So if you think that's the case, this is the play for recognizing that there's a lot of degenerates. And if you want to bet on making money on degenerates, being degenerates in a lower risk than in other projects, where there's admin key access to all sorts of shit for them to steal money, then this would be the bet for you.
I want to create a direct bookie system where you can only use crypto. You have to fiat off ramp on your own chains. Like so it has no interaction with.
Wait. So this would be where, because I'm curious, this is a cool idea. You mean for like football, basketball type
all
shit?
Sports. Every sport that plays in any country has an over-under. There's people that cover all that, Vegas odds. So they cover everything for everyone. And there's a database for that. So all you have to do is list the sports. And
and it could be set up in the same way where Jake has set it up. So there's no way for us to have any access to the money piece of it. It's sealed off. There's no admin to that piece of it. It just, we might have to bring in the data from somewhere.
Dude, there's such a huge market for sports games. Sam, now I'm going to talk about some Moon Boy stuff. What's the biggest? You ever heard of Barstool Sports? Barstool Sports is one of the largest sports comedy entertainment organizations in the world. And what they do for mainly profit is they are direct gambling like middlemen through millions. They have tons of front ends for every site, everything connected to them, referral links, blah, 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 blah. But that's like the centralized version of it, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to force them to use our interface because we're going to have critical mass, and they're going to be having to switch from their legacy system. That takes a lot of effort and time. You have to switch your whole gambling circuit. You have to figure out the whole new system. We will be the new system, and they'll be coming to us.
Bro, good idea.
Because we already know where they're coming from, and they're going to be about a year and a half later. You know what I mean? So if we can just build the circle that they have to swim in, you know what I mean? I think I could create something bigger than Stooley or bigger than Barstool Sports in crypto because I have better scaling than they do because I'm in crypto.
If you guys know a developer, reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter. There's links down below. You can just press the follow button and then go to message and say, what's up? I know a developer. I am a developer. That project sounds kind of interesting. Reach out to us because we are interested in building something that is going to be valuable to the community. And if you can get rid of the 10% or 20% of the booker or whatever, is that what they're called? Like a booking fee or booker fee or
a bookie? So there's a bookie, which would be the central bank. Usually it's like a drug dealer or something on the feet. So it would be like your local bookie will just be a guy and he handles the banking. So he pays you, you pay him. Blah, blah, blah.
Where would you like to start? UFC?
It would be, yes, UFC and NFL to start because there's enough time in there where I could prep. But like as we get better, you would move into the sports that do daily sports. Because I want to be efficient, right? And I'm also, guys, I'm going to drop something on you here real quick. I might be there's a UFC card tomorrow night. Okay. I'm a huge UFC fan. I transferred from the gambling side of it to just the fan side of it. It's the only sport I watch. It's on very rarely, so it's not like a time sink. It's like once a week at like late night. So it's like totally like out. It's perfect for me. But anyway, I have a really strong intuition about Dana White. So Dana White loves tech, but he just wants to make his business bigger. He's one of those guys that's willing to do anything. He doesn't care about social norms. He doesn't care about legacy finance. He doesn't care about gun laws. He doesn't care about all that shit. He wants adoption. He's just like an adoption machine. And he's with crypto.com now. And with this crypto show and my UFC show, guys, I'm a workaholic. Don't forget it. I could somehow interject myself into that UFC system and become an analyst or just someone who's more popular with it. And so I might be doing a pre-fight live stream tomorrow. If you guys think that is something that you would like me to do, biceps in the chat, because, you know, we're in a bear market and I also want to have more creative outlets and I want to build a bigger audience. And, you know, regurgitating a lot of this information to a lot of the same people is amazing because it's helpful. But, you know, what do I need to scale. I need to scale.
Hey, especially if you start doing that, say once a week, what you were just describing, that could start building a bigger audience to touch those type of people. And we could create something where it was the front end for, you know, autonomous or basically there's no middlemen involved to bet on sports and you have to use crypto to do this. That's a great idea, bro. I love it.
And UFC is definitely not rigged. I'm not saying other sports aren't rigged. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the UFC is not. He's kind of like Richard Hart, Dana White. He's like, why wouldn't McGregor have lost 3 times in a row? How could you tear your ACL and plan for that?
Is UFC a year-round thing?
Yes, it's every week. It's once a week, basically. They're at that point now. It's just getting to that point, though. It's just getting to that point where it's every week, and every week is like banging.
Oh, okay. But there's a boatload of fucking different fighters.
They're growing. Like this is like critical mass. They already hit critical mass, but now we're like slowing down, and they're getting ready like for the next. Because these industries are kind of like markets too. So like when the next bull run comes, like you're gonna see some of the craziest shit in the UFC. All these guys are becoming superstars at crazy rates. But the cool part is, Sam, there's so many UFC fighters now that you can interact with them. The newer ones, they have 22K subs. They want to say what's up. They want money. What did they not have? Money. What do we all have? Money. So it's like it's an interesting it's interesting because there's nothing more that I want than be Joe Rogan's replacement.
Bro, that's
he moves on.
100% possible.
I think it's possible.
betting.
I think I could do it if I put my mind to it, and I'm willing to put my mind to it because it's once a week, and I can only study for 3 hours roughly, and that's totally enough time because I so intimately know gambling. I'm telling you guys, I'm a sick son of a bitch. And when I did this, imagine Sam, if someone said, Sam, I'm gonna give you $100,000, and this year you can't do anything except sports gamble with this. You would do everything, just because it's fucking fun to be quite frank. But like, so that's what I did for that 1 year, and nobody gave me the money. I wasted all my own money. But so I know intimately gambling, but I know better the gambling people. I am gambling people. I hang out with gambling people. So I know the ethos of the environment. I know how reckless. I know, and maybe I could do it in a way where there was somehow less risk, like more of an emphasis on health. But like, you know what I mean? Like whatever I could do marketing wise, and that could just be through my presence within the company. Like,
but allowing people to bet with crypto in a way where there's no admin keys, access to the money, and betting on different sports, freaking awesome. Like great idea.
And it's just what I love. So it's perfect. It's like I love talking gambling, but I just don't want to gamble anymore. I just don't want to gamble. Like I don't want to gamble at all. I don't like the emotional, but I know that people do it already. And at the same time, I can do my show every morning where I bring them over to here to talk about the most absolutely amazing long-term investment tool in history. And then I can intertwine the two, and then hex.com stadium for UFC, and then John Jones is wearing the UFC stuff and comeback fight. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But we are actually going to go into the Pulse hot list real quick because
this thing.
Let's see how complicated. If we can read through this and it's just
that's me.
Good to go, then let me make sure I'm not on a scam website. What if I just like shared a scam link and just went through the whole thing?
You're like, yeah, guys, go check this out.
So somebody DM'd me and said, ask if shareholders have a say in what coins get whitelisted via the admin keys he has.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Join their Telegram group.
Join their Telegram group.
T.me probably Pulse Pod.
So I'm gonna pull up first their Sam, this has been very interesting because a lot of people have brought this up in a controversial way. Like maybe I think someone said like I wasn't added to the list or something, but I had no idea what it was. So I was like, why do these people care about this shit? Like most people wouldn't care about this, right? Like I don't care if I'm added to a stupid list, but maybe if people do care, maybe it's kind of cool. I'm not saying, I'm just talking
yeah.
Here.
What is
All
this?
right, let me share. I'm sorry.
This
would be the Twitter, and I'll share this Twitter below.
Cool. While you're doing this, if you guys enjoy the show, take a second, press that subscribe button, press that thumbs up button, press the bell notification. Yesterday, I did not get any videos out, but I have 2 that have already been filmed, waiting to be released. Now I have 4 more videos. The Iacocca thing that we talked about yesterday, base token update, team token update, and a Pulse pot video update because some of the things have changed and there needs to be an update video on those. So make sure you subscribe to catch those future videos. Press that bell notification. Also, if you want to say what's good on Twitter every day, multiple times a day. So links down below on both of our channels for our Twitter. You can say what's good over there. But we're going to check out Pulse Hot List now, which is something that I know nothing about. And GRC is going to teach us. Go ahead, bro. What is
I just pulled this up, and I'm also going to pull up the Telegram group to see all the pinned tweets because that's when you research, guys. You always want to go to the Telegram first and check the pinned tweets because that usually gets you through the basics. But we're gonna read this website and see how Sam interprets it while I read, and we'll just kind of go from there. So, whoops, fuck me, dude. I'm a piece of shit today. Sorry. I have to share this one more time. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So, guys, we're talking about the Pulse hot list here, the one and only Pulse chain ranking site, Sam. Okay. I don't know what that means necessarily yet. Let's go further.
I bet I can say what this is right now before.
Okay, say it.
Okay, so they're gonna go in and say that, hey, this is coinmarketcap.com. This is Nomics for Pulse Chain, and it is the one and only place where we're gonna have an unbiased way of structuring things. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so
Could be 100%
Pulse Hotlist is a powerful analytics and research platform designed to inform users of the Pulse Chain ecosystem about potential investments. By providing users with an in-depth analysis of the use case, reputation, and founders, Pulse Hotlist is a go-to tool for researching Pulse-related projects and discovering new project opportunities. All right, so what do they want? All right, we improved the game theory of Pulse Hotlist while keeping the integrity of our values. Honest, transparent, objective, unbiased, no listing fee, etc. 2, create for more constant buy pressure of PHL. Allow project owners to dive more into traffic in their own project pages. Drive more traffic to Pulse Hotlist and expand on the Pulse Chain ecosystem user base faster. So let's click on About. Accelerate your investment strategy. What the fuck?
That's not a good way to highlight shit.
Make sure, guys, you fix that on the website so when you're highlighting it, it's in a clear code. Pulse Hotlist is a powerful analytics and research platform designed to inform users. Okay, we just read that. Independent, unbiased, and highly qualified. Pulse Hotlist was founded by 2 well-known community members who have been with Hex and Pulse Chain since their early days, Victor and Felix. Guys, confirm in the chat if we know who Victor and Felix are. Anyone that knows who Victor and Felix are, please confirm in the chat. Although I am chatting with them on the Telegram, we believe in Richard Hart's products and want to promote the ecosystem that is being created around them. Therefore, we created Pulse Hotlist as a free, easy-to-use analytics tool. So we love analytics tools. We strongly believe in censorship resistance. That's why we created an objective way to rank projects called the PHL score. This allows you to judge projects based on standardized criteria in an unbiased way. We will allow anybody to pay in any way, shape, form to publish incorrect information. Project owners can only pay to rent featured spots or to get honesty reviewed in the PLH newsletter. So project owners can pay to rent featured spots. So if Sam has a project and Sam's coming out with it, he can pay to rent a spot within this front end. And it
says that sentence right in the middle. We will never allow anybody to pay in any way, shape, or form to publish incorrect information. So you know how there's incorrect information on CoinMarketCap?
There's no such thing as not incorrect information.
Because what they're going to publish too is also going to be biased in their own way. Yes, but
yeah, like if you ask me what the correct information on nutrition is, and my brother,
it's going to be different than me.
It's going to be the people are going to say this isn't correct information from my brother, or whatever, whoever.
Yes, you're right.
And so because that's not his forte, but he could still write about it. he could still tap keys, like, you know what I mean. I gave them a recommendation to allow wallet. Oh, so real quick, Sam, can you pull that up on a sidebar?
Yep. Go ahead. You can continue reading on the next section.
Pulse roadmap, and just read what that is. Not roadmap, but read what that tweet is. Roadmap, more informational material, videos, etc., to allow Pulse Hotlist users to learn about how to access potential investments themselves. Interesting. Let me switch page. Okay, even more pricing data and daily top gainers / losers after mainnet launch when most projects actually have prices. Analyze potential future market developments with a bull and bear case for each project. So basically, it's just a rank. It's just like any site. Like that's like CoinMarketCap. Under the chart, basically, they'll have an analysis of it. But if you read most pages, their analysis is stupid.
Yes.
It's just like the same, like 84% retracement, 69%. It's like, yeah, but let's talk about for real. But I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying, so that's definitely a use case there because most people, that section is always like trash. I never read it. And I wish I could read it for most. I would love to read something informative under a chart. Mission. My bad. Mission.
You know, you would probably like, so that tweet was just a fighter dude.
Lund.
Who's a Hex person. Yeah. Jay Lundy, I guess is his name. I guess he has a Hex hat on or something in the shot or something. So you got, if somebody knows him or knows how to get access to him and he wants to come on and talk about himself and the fighting and stuff like that, I mean, we'll have him on the show for sure.
I'd love that.
I'm sure that would be a ton of fun for you to
me and Bullish will DM him for sure. Hey, I gave them a recommendation to allow wallet right review using signature. So basic freepulse.io guys, GRC. Yeah, so these guys are docs. People know them. They legit freepulse.io. This will be the highway for Pulse Chain projects posting their websites. Crypto Gains Club likes it.
Oh,
Crypto Gains Club Insight is always top tier, and he's a T-share.
He's on top of a lot of shit in the community, so
that's for damn sure. He don't rest. That's for damn sure. Okay, so that's our mission. Our goal is to make the crypto space around Pulse Chain transparent as possible. Number one, Warren Pulsikins, and I do this too. So I am Pulse Hot List. My face should be on it. I am the face of Pulse Hot List. Okay, I am the creator. I'm the founder. Warn Pulsikins of scams and make sure they always invest in reputable projects. That's my main goal. Become the go-to informative site in PulseX front end for Pulse Chain users. That's dope. Become the go-to website host for Pulse Chain owner projects. That's dope. So when we're talking about the tokenomics here, Sam, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it at all. But
let's click on sacrifice and see what this says real quick. The sacrifice phase has started. If you guys want to sacrifice, I will not be doing that today. So
I will not be sacrificing either.
$34,427 with 126 unique addresses. Be interested to see which one did the most. To show your referral link, guys, send me money. About sacrificing, there's a sacrifice phase for the freedom to invest. The freedom to inform, rate, analyze, and share value. It's going to last 30 days. 30 days, guys. Starting June 17th. That was 6 days ago. UTC. They're giving away where they're at. And ending July 16th, 2359 UTC. They are a beautiful set of people to airdrop something to. The sacrifice might be a part of a 100,000 PHL in proportion to their SAC points in the sacrifice pool. Note that said airdrop isn't guaranteed. Never expect to work from others. Because of this low supply and indivisibility, sacrificers with less than indivisibility.
They're basically just gonna make the token so that it can't have like 16 zeros behind it. It sounds like.
I see. Oh, I see. I get it.
So that's why it says less than 0.001% of all SAC points won't get any.
Thank you for that. I would have been stuck on that for a sec. Points won't get any PHL. Of course, you can always add to your sacrifice to stay above the threshold. Sacrifice below the threshold and above $5, depending on gas, will probably get the sacrifice refunded. So basically, if you do under $5, you won't get anything. And that's fine because that is just a ratio thing. And you have to buy a full one probably. Referral program. I'm not going to read into that. You can read into it if you'd like. Volume bonus, the sacrifice phase.
They still haven't. They have a section talking about like how their shit's going to work at all or no?
Yeah, I'm kind of. That's
because like.
So here's the volume bonus. Here we go. Here's an about. Oh, yeah. I already read that. No more.
Wait, go. What does it say? Up what tiny bit? I think it said pumpamentals.
Pumpamentals. Project owner wanted to make their project pages prettier. This is a nice site. If that's what
it's a nice site. I still don't understand their
project owner wanting to get reviewed in the PLH letter. So basically, what they're saying is why are people going to buy? So wanting to make their projects prettier, that probably help you get better at it, I guess. Project owner wanting to get reviewed by PHL newsletter. That's true. Like I would like to send my shit to something where people saw it. Project owner wanting to rent featured spot to drive more traffic to their project pages. The amount of money that project owners are willing to bid for all those depend on the size of the Pulse Hot List user base. The more users, the more project owners are willing to spend and promote their projects. The faster the PHL price increases. No more need for expensive or ugly websites. I do not like ugly websites. They turn me off so bad. And after being like staring at websites all day. And sometimes shit rug pulls are more fun to read about because they're done with more financial, like they paid more to do it. So like they have like a prettier website because they're kind of trying to get over on people. No more projects who want to take their presentation to the next level might need to buy and burn a certain amount of PHL in the future to allow the cosmetic customization of their page. So there's a feature here, guys, it seems like, where somehow you can gain some sort of cosmetic customization if you buy and burn a certain amount. So basically, if you buy the token and just get rid of it, so there's like a price there basically, depending on the amount of burn PHL, almost any customization is possible. Yo, that sounds kind of sick. If they did a good job, imagine burning $100 and having a dope ass website. It's fucking worth
Wait,
it.
were you thinking of projects who want to take their presentation on the hot list?
So no more need for ugly websites. Damn it! That's an ugly feature on this website. So you should that's a projects who want to take their presentation to the next level. So Sam, if you had a project and you were like, man, I wish I could take my presentation to the next level, on the Pulse hot list to the next level might need to buy and burn. They have to say might. So needs to buy and burn a certain amount of PHL. So there'll be a rate there where you buy and burn in the future to allow for cosmetic customization. So, I mean, that just needs like a retarded amount of explaining.
Well, so it sounds, I mean, like, so they're just like, hey, GRC, we're going to list your shit on our site. You want to make your shit look prettier? Then pay us, kind of thing, by burning your shit. I don't know. It's cool that they're coming.
Well, I mean, again, like if this was done by someone with 100% security, which it almost sounds like it is, because the Pulse, the freepulse.io guys are like giving away free Pulse to everyone out of their own wallets, and that's all they're doing.
Yep, and apparently those two guys are pretty well known. So
well, yeah, and as me and Sam get better at being journalists and stuff, that's just a factor. I hate it sucks that it's a factor, because it's not fun to cover. Like, oh, this guy's this guy's that. Nobody really knows. But Sam, we're in crypto. This is like multifactorial as it gets. Like, we're talking politics. You could be talking politics and not even get to the crypto and have a good conversation about crypto, because it's just like multivariable. But all these things are coming out. Sam sees the rate that these things are coming out, and he doesn't even have to think about it. He's just like, this, it's stupid. The amount of workload, the amount of volume, mental space, mental energy, entrepreneurial force that is coming into this space, while the other lags down hard to zero, while everyone in there just wants to get $1, while everyone in there just wants to go home, and they just want to stop working for their whole life. And then they finally have enough money to look over somewhere else. And where do they look? Pulse hot list. No, I'm just kidding. No, but no, that was a good that would have been a good commercial for Pulse hot list. They should just clip that. Driving the PLS price. Hey, and if any of these guys want like to send me like merch and stuff, I'll probably wear it and take a picture with it. Driving the PLS price up. The featured spots and newsletters review always go to the highest bidder. Half of all payments go directly towards buying and burning PHL during the activity PHL to actively increase its price. The other half goes towards an address you may have no expectations of. Whoever owns it might use the funds for marketing to drive more users to Pulse hot list. Again, when they say might, it's just basically telling what they're doing, but they're doing it in verbiage that they can't be liable. To fund future development of new features or other beneficial expenses. This would increase the value of PHL passively. Project owners have to pay in stable coins to allow for the first 50% to drive the price of PHL up, and the second 50% to not create any sell wall. Jesus, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Again, I have to read into it more, watch a few videos, get the founders on. Hey, founders, I'll do a separate episode on you if you'll come on. Here, let me look. That's what they said. Did they said anything to me? Yeah, guys, go into the Telegram Pulse hot list group. They don't have to come on now. I'll do a separate episode if they want to come on.
But also, if you guys know of other, ones with that are decentralized and focused on security and not having the admin keys and exposing people to risk, if you guys know projects like that are launching on Pulse that you think is cool or you think is cool, DM us. Let us know. Like, we would love to have these people on and check them out. Like, this shit's gonna blow the F up. There's so many of these things coming out.
Just like I said, if this was a little more technical than I realized, I was going to just have them on. When it said Pulse hot list, I didn't think of like major tokenomics. So now I'm like realizing again, it's this crypto. I got to know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to introduce that to everyone. It's a cool concept nonetheless, even if there was no token associated with it.
Yes.
As a But Sam, would it almost be better for us to create a business that was like that without a token attached to it and just accept the money that way? Because that's a little, and again, some things need to be decentralized and some things don't. And again, I am not an authority on this. I am about as clueless to the overall nuance. Well, let's not get it totally twisted. I've been doing this for a minute now, but you know what I mean? I'm not an authority. I'm not that guy who just came on. He has more insight than I don't care what anyone says about him. He could be a thief, a murderer, whatever, but he knows more. He was Bitcoin mining on his computer. I was not. And again, and just like the sacrifice, just like all that, I rely on the guys that were there before me that have proven to be transparent over and over and over again. You know why I support Richard Hart? Because of what he says out of his mouth hole. He wants people not to get rugged, and he's creating a personality based on taking these projects down, and he's okay with it now. Back in the day, he was like, "Oh, this is all bad press," and now he's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So, guys, I'm buying Hex and Maxi. Well, lots of Maxi transactions going on, but Maxi, Hex. That's what I'm buying right now. I haven't sacrificed for anything since Mintra, I think, in liquid loans. So just know, guys, I'm new here too, but I protect myself. I always keep enough money to make sure that I can keep going and that I'm protecting the people around me. Luckily, there are no people around me, so I don't have to do shit. But if you want to support me or Sam, I'm going to drop a link below. Guys, all our links for all our pages are below. We're going to be streaming more. We're going to be making more videos. Sam's coming out with videos every single day on various projects, deep dives for the more technical guys. Go over there, watch that shit. And if you have criticisms of Sam's work, tell him, and just because there's insights.
Trying to get better. Yes.
There's insights there that he would love to know, so he didn't have to bump his head against the wall for another month. Because it's just, you don't know what you don't know. When people make their first YouTube video, it's not as good as their last. So it's just,
that's why I was like, hey, I'm going to do an update video on Pulse Pot, because there's things that have changed in the 5 days since I released that video, and the context of the information I have now is much better information because talking to the founder of the video, there is some bunch of links down below for other social like Twitter and Instagram if you guys want to check out on those other platforms. Also, I did a Too Much Test podcast episode last night on my other channel. Is that link down below? I don't even know if it is, but let me just check real quick. Is that link down below?
You have your Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube below.
Okay, so this is this is one of the YouTube channels, and then
does it pop? Is it a different YouTube channel?
It is a different YouTube channel. Yes. So if you guys want to check out fitness related content over there, check it out. Talk about testosterone. Talk about PEDs, peptides, health, biohacking, all that kind of stuff over there. If you'd like to check out some cool shit, check out shop.letstalkpeds.com. I think that's also linked down below as well. And GRC has been popping off on Instagram. He's been growing on Instagram. So
I'm trying on Instagram, yo. I want to break through Instagram so I can get verified, because my experience with Instagram now is horrible. I have no fun on it anymore because they're scam. Every scam bot has 6 times as many followers as I do. It's ridiculous. And it's like, so guys, just know I'm going to post my Instagram below. If you get scammed by a fake me, you're so stupid. You literally are dumb. If I would never ask you for your Cash App or your Bitcoin or your shit, I would never ask you for shit. If you want to donate, you can fucking donate. I'm never going to DM you and ask you for nothing unless you're Bob. And
that's a pretty good ending right there for the show. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you share.
I bought my Hex from the start, guys. You never know when we're going to pop up next. Follow us on everything, guys. I'm super excited for the future. I'm super excited to work harder, and I'm super excited about the RH ecosystem, Pulse Chain, even just Hex alone. We're building really good stuff. It's not the end all be all. It's really good stuff. That's, guys, I just wanted to get that transparent. You don't have to believe everything you fucking hear, but you have to understand that it's usually somewhere in the middle. Right, Sam? In the middle. Guys.
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Heart. Richard Heart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. .1 every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out and they'll get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart.